Hello kids, it's Phil here today. Today we're going to be reading The Emu That Laid the Golden Egg by Yvonne Morrison and Heath Mackenzie. The Emu That Laid the Golden Egg. A long time ago, amid hills dry and brown, a flock of wild emus moved into a town. They were hoping to find something wholesome to eat, so they set up their base at the end of Main Street. The emus weren't fussy, leftovers would do, but Emma was looking to taste something new. So when a black beetle buzzed out of the sky, she lunged at the bug as it bumbled on by. The beetle avoided her big snapping beak. With a whir of its wings, it was gone like a streak. As her snack disappeared, Emma took up the chase and set off down the street at a galloping pace. Past the end of the town, Emma followed her prey, far out to the west where it led her away. Over hills and down gorges, through dense bush and scrub, till at last it crawled under a prickly old shrub. Flummoxed because she'd missed out on her snack, too shattered and hungry to find her way back, until she could eat, Emma knew she was stuck. So she scrounged for some food, and this time had some luck. Emma spotted some kernels of corn in a creek, and she shoveled them greedily up with her beak. It was strange-looking corn, oddly heavy and bright, and before long her stomach no longer felt right. The heavy corn kernels were hard to digest, so she scrabbled together some twigs for a nest. She felt queasy and knew she should stay overnight, then find her way home again once it got light. Next day, Emma felt something under her leg, and looked down to see that she'd just laid an egg. It was gleaming and yellow instead of dark green, and the shiniest egg that she had ever seen. But Emma was famished. She'd got to her feet, intending to hunt down that black beetle treat. As she wandered away, she would never have guessed that two rotten scoundrels were watching her nest. They'd come to the goldfields intending to steal, but before they got started, they fancied a meal. Nasty Ned proposed stealing an egg for a treat. It sure beats the crusts that we usually eat. So they crept up to see what the bird's nest might hold. Pongo Pete yelled, "Hey, look! It's an egg made of gold!" But before they could stuff the gold egg in their sack, Emma gave up her hunt and came wandering back. "A gold-laying emu?" Pete said. "We should stay and steal a gold egg from her nest every day." But Ned rolled his eyes and said, "Mate, that's absurd. It would be so much simpler to kidnap the bird." So they set up a trap with some crusts laid as bait, leading into their tent, and then sat down to wait. Hungry Emma walked in and the canvas flopped down, and the men wrapped her ready to take into town. The pair hoisted Emma on top of their nag and stuffed her gold egg in an old burlap bag. But the bag had a hole. The egg fell through the crack and was left far behind in a ditch by the track. When they got into town, they began to unload and found the egg missing from where it was stowed. Frustrated and angry, Pete ranted and swore, but Ned told him calmly, "The bird will lay more." The men booked 2 rooms at an inn on Main Street and sneaked Emma up to a big fancy suite. "This should do her," said Ned. "It's where she can stay. She'll lay more gold eggs. We'll get one every day." "And if," added Pete, "we don't get what we need, it's curtains for her." With a nod, Ned agreed. They tumbled her roughly out onto the floor, went out to the hallway and bolted the door. Emma hadn't a clue what the scoundrels had said. She was just disappointed she hadn't been fed. So, hungry again, Emma roamed round the suite, where she noticed with glee all the new things to eat. She nibbled the cushions and scoffed down a shoe, ate the glass chandelier and a brass bed knob too. She gobbled and gorged till she felt she would pop, then lurched to the bed where she let herself drop. 2 days later, the rascals unbolted the door and discovered their captive asleep on the floor. Then a shiny black beetle zoomed into the suite. Its buzzing woke Emma. She leapt to her feet. Still hungry for real food, she jumped and she snapped. Her legs thrashed and kicked, and her stubby wings flapped. The baddies both cringed as they clung to the wall, till she chased the black beetle out into the hall. Nasty Ned failed to grab her as Emma ran by. "She's escaped!" Pete lamented and started to cry. "Stop your blubbing," said Ned. "Have a look over here." Because there on the bed was a large golden sphere. Then Ned got a shock. "Hey, this egg's made of brass." "There's a leather egg too, and a silk one, and glass. Her eggs are all made out of things that she ate." "We're ruined," Ned groaned. "There's no gold for us, mate." As for Emma, she lost the bug round the first block, but at the next corner she spotted her flock, and even though scraps aren't to everyone's taste, she fancied a meal of leftovers and waste. So she joined in their dinner, and though stale and old, it tasted much better than brass, glass and gold. And after her meal, Emma had to conclude, for the rest of her days she'd just eat scavenged food. The end. That was a very, very interesting book. Imagine if you found an animal that laid golden eggs. Would you be surprised? I'd be very surprised. Alright children, time to go to bed, brush your teeth and jump into your lovely warm pyjamas. I will see you all next time on Storytime with Batman. See you kids!